All right, we're going to look at Lesson 9, working with sound and video, and this is for Adobe Animate. Although I'm going to be working on an older Flash program for this lesson, everything should translate fine though. So let's get started with looking at the sound files. So let's go into File, Import, and Import to Library. And let's find our files, and they should be in a sound file, and they should have some African and Latin beat and some names of some animals. I'm just going to go ahead and shift click, and I'm going to open and bring them all in. And now they're all over the place, so I'm going to create a folder. I'm going to call it sounds, and let's drag our sound files we just brought over into the sound. Okay, there now. So we have all of our sound files right in here. Okay, and let's look at the monkey file, sound file. And so up here, you'll see in the library, it'll look like a bunch of little waves. That's kind of a symbol of what the sound is doing. You can see the monkey's doing some screams right in here. And you can play that. So right here in the right-hand corner, there's a play button. There's a stop button right here, in case it gets too annoying. And so let's go ahead and create a new layer. And let's call that sounds also. So we'll call everything sounds. Okay, and let's go ahead and just drag that up to the top. But we want it to be underneath our actions. And let's look at the, let's drag our African Latin beat file. And make sure you're selected. You have this, our new folder, our new layer selected right in here or just somewhere. And we'll just drag that onto the stage. And there you go, there you have it. It's showing up. You can see the wave now is all along the layer. And we'll go into our properties, and I'm going to select that area, the sounds. You can see over here in sound, it'll show the name. That's the name of the African Latin beat. Let's say if we want to delete it or get rid of it, you can just choose none. You can see it's not there. And so that's another way we can actually select and bring them in also. We can just bring it, you can see we can bring in the African Latin beat if we want. Let's do the African beat. And let's see, let's have this event. Let's do the stream. So if you have it stream, you should be able to kind of scrub through and you can hear it. Whereas if you test it, do a control test movie, and it looks like that's not working. Here it comes. And it didn't even work. Something didn't work. Let's try that again. Okay. Did you hear it? There was only like a couple little beats. It went off really quick, and that was because it only lasts for these 10 frames, because if we go into our action script code, you'll see there's a stop at the 10th frame, which means it stops after 10 frames. Since we're on the code, we'll go ahead and look at they've already have it set up to where the buttons are already set up in here. And we have a similar code that we saw in our last lesson. Okay, and so let's see, let's say we want this sound to actually last a little bit longer, so let's add some frames. So usually you can kind of just do a selection and you can hit F5, and although I can't do that, so I have to do insert timeline frame. But you can also do an F5, and you can keep hitting F5 until it reaches to, we want this code to go about to frame 51. So I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to select these roughly about 9 frames, and I'm going to do insert timeline frame, and I'm just going to do it a few times. Okay, so I got about, I'm on 50. Let me do one more frame. Okay, so there I should be on frame 51. Okay, so now if I do a test, there it lasts a little bit longer, or we can actually hear it. Okay, let's go back into our timeline, and let's try clipping this sound. If you come down here on the timeline and see it, it keeps on going page after 50, but we want it to stop here because we're going to have some other videos that start there later. So let's clip this sound. So let's click on that sound somewhere, and we're going to go into, if you see under here, over here in our properties, under effect, and there's a pencil that'll edit. And now we get our edit envelope dialog box. And see, we can either look at this button right here, which is the time, or we can go to frames. And since we already kind of know about that, we want it to end around frame 50. Let's zoom out. So right here you can see the negative zoom out button, so we can kind of see the whole thing. And we're going to drag this, and this is going to cut our frames off. You can also cut them down here at the beginning if you wanted to cut off the beginning for some reason. But we want to go to about frame 51. So right around here, let's zoom in now and see. Looks pretty close. So that's 60, that's 55, so that's roughly about 51. And no, I don't. So now we're going to have this fade. So we're going to create a fade. And I'm just clicking. You can just kind of click your left click right up here somewhere on this line, you can see, and drag this. This is how long we're going to hold that sound for. Now we're going to click along here again, and then we're going to drag this all the way down, and that is going to start cutting off all of this sound right in here. So it's going to fade out. And this is our left channel, and this is our right channel. So I'm going to bring this one down and cut that off. And maybe we'll skip this over a little bit more. Have a little bit of a longer fade. We'll click OK, and we'll do a test. See how that sounds? And there you can hear it fades out. Okay, I think that's it for that part of the sound lesson. Next, we're going to go in and add sound to our buttons.